Blood number 78. And this next request goes out to during the 1970s when I was a wee bit younger. Life's activities revolved almost entirely, in one fashion or another, around music. My older brothers always seemed to have either the radio playing or they were spinning one of their favorite 45s on our little one speaker record player. In those days, I also owned a little red transistor radio that accompanied me on my journeys and adventures around the little farm that we lived on and into the woods behind our house. In the school year of 72-73, I was in the third grade, and I launched into the musical journey that would influence pretty much the rest of my life. Everything started when I picked up an alto saxophone, and I set my sights on joining the fifth grade band, which really was my first opportunity to play in a role in and be a part of any kind of organized group. And so, with this goal in my sights, I began practicing in earnest. By my quick attempts to lay down some pretty seriously smooth saxophone licks, but which unfortunately came out like the many shrieks and screeches of two desperate alley cats fighting over one tiny scrap of food. Whenever I saw someone playing the sax on a nightclub scene on television, they'd made it look so easy. I mean, it appeared as if all you had to do was pick up one of the darn things and blow into it. But apparently, it was going to be slightly more challenging than that depiction. So I practiced, and I practiced, and I did very well, ending up playing first sax in the 5th and 6th grade band. And oh, by the way, the 5th and 6th grade band members were viewed by everyone else in school as being on the professional level, as those who performed before a sold out crowd at Carnegie Hall. I was at the height of my musical career, but eventually I finished the 6th grade and moved up to the 7th and 8th grade band. I continued to flourish at this level as well, and to this day I wish that I would have kept up with the saxophone. Alas, though, halfway through my 7th grade year, I was seduced by the call of the rock band. And well, I traded in my sax for an electric bass guitar and an amplifier. I had two friends that were very gifted as well. One played the electric guitar, and one had a rather large drum set that he knew his way around quite proficiently. And so it seemed only natural at this point that we would form a band. We would get together every Friday night. We would stay up all night, wildly, enthusiastically, and loudly playing through cover after cover of our favorite rock tunes. The three-piece band carried on this way for 2 years until we decided to write a 6-minute instrumental that would be entered into a local contest. A song that we hoped would make the final cut and be part of an album that showcased various local bands. And so we stayed up all night and recorded a track that we felt was perfect submission for the album. During the evening, however, some things within the band began to change, and the next morning it was decided that we just needed to split up. The track that we had worked so hard on never saw the light of day, and I have no idea what happened to that recording, and I never heard that song again from that day forward. Around that same time, I entered high school, and I joined the school's jazz band. I was a part of the rhythm section of the band, which consisted of an electric guitar player, a drummer, and a keyboard player. We accompanied 30 brass instruments and served as the structural backbone for the big band. During those days, the intricacies and the demands of playing jazz bass helped me to stretch and sharpen my playing skills. At the same time, my eldest brother acquired a beautiful 7-piece drum kit. He assembled the drum set in the basement of our house, and with a friend of his on sixth string and myself on bass, we formed another band. For quite a while we started doing covers of songs from bands like the Eagles, Joe Walsh, and Bad Company. But eventually we were engaged to play at a party at the house of the guitar player's brother. It had a particular theme that we wanted to fit into, and so we changed the name of the band. And I set about writing several songs that were a good match for the situation in which we would play. We continued to play and have fun together until I went away to college. I was gone for several years, and within that time priorities changed. My brother met a girl, and when they became serious and began dating a lot, he had less and less desire to play. He eventually sold his drums, and a pretty similar story happened to the guitar player as well. I came home from college with different ideas and desires, and we never played together again. I continued to play once in a while after that, but without a musical group to be a part of. I quickly became bored with the bass, and over the course of time I just continued playing entirely. However, to this day, I continue to have a deep-seated connection with music. And I gave you a brief overview of my musical background, not because I think you need it, or maybe even want to know it, but just so that I can say this. It is approximately 30 plus years later, and I find myself wondering if music is a force that could influence or shape my neurological partner for a life ataxia. Or better yet, maybe I should just cut to the chase and inquire whether or not ataxia takes requests. Do you think if I requested the police don't stand so close to me, that ataxia would get the idea that I need some personal space? Or if I were to request Don Henley's "You don't know me at all," do you think that ataxia would realize that it is not the one in charge and just stop acting all haughty and superior? Would my SCA get the idea, you suppose, that I am done with him and it is time to leave if I played Eddie Money's Get a Move On? Unfortunately, my taxi would not be affected in this way, for he is very stubborn. Through the course of my life, however, I have learned that music is a gift and can lift my soul to places that go far beyond myself. Through music, I can easily lift my focus and thoughts from daily struggles and trials and turn them to see the bigger picture of life all around me. It helps me center my thoughts, marvel at the creation, and to realize that life is so much bigger than me and does not revolve around my ataxia. Once again, my friends, I want to encourage you not to be saddened by what used to be. I know it can be difficult and frustrating to not be able to do the things that we used to do. I understand the thought, I really do, but I implore you not to stay in that place. Realize that the past experiences helped to shape us into who we are today. Take the time just to look around and see that life is so much bigger than your or my ataxia. Life is full of blessings. We just have to be willing to look for them and then to let them in.